Avon and Somerset Police, how can I help?
Hi, my name is Bejan. My life in danger.
Why is your life in danger, Bejan? What's happening?
I've got a moth behind my door.
During that evening, someone come over and said, yeah, something's going to kick off tonight. But I didn't really know what they meant.
There's 6, 7 meters, and I can't go outside the door because I'm not safe.
You taking pictures of me?
Go out of my house.
Don't take pictures of me then, all right?
It was a shock for something as medieval and barbaric as this to happen in a tight community.
What are they saying?
They're shouting and calling me Peter Wild.
A baying crowd had gathered, from which it could be heard, "I'm going to kill him."
I knew what happened would happen. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying what they did was right, but I can see why they flipped.
How old are you? I'm a little boy. Up to you.
Go out of my house.
I don't know how you pronounce his name. Bejan, and I'm not going to talk to him.
Despite calling to the police, despite calling to the council repeatedly, he received no support. He was ignored.
What part of be quiet do you not understand? Shut up!
Lee James dragged Bejan from his home, brought him to an area where he kicked Bejan to death, and then he set alight to his body.
They burnt the body like a desecration. And I thought, why? Why do that?
What I saw that night will haunt me for the rest of my life.
The story, which is often told about Bejan, is that this drunk yob kicked a man to death, set his body on fire. But I can remember thinking, this isn't some drunken moment of madness. This has been going on for years, where the local authority and the police have known about this. And I thought, what on earth has happened to lead to this place? How many opportunities must have been missed for Bejan to end as a burning corpse?
Well, my heart sank when I was asked to come and talk to you about it, because, you know, in a way you don't want to haul over these coals. But it was a shock for something as medieval and barbaric as this to happen in a tight community. And I think so nasty that we in the council, I think, had a corporate shock. The reaction was one of, oh my God, this is a real wake-up call. Brissington is part of South Bristol. South Bristol is traditionally white, working class. It's the biggest area of deprivation in the city. In retrospect, it wasn't the right place to house Bejan in Brissington.
20 years ago, Brislington was the place to live. I'm not quite sure what happened to it. All of a sudden, we had these white Bris written all over the pavements, over walls. Someone somewhere has got this issue that Brislington should be predominantly white. And all of a sudden, you realise things aren't as cosy in your environment as you believe them to be. It totally threw me, that one, because I honestly believe we were living in relative racial harmony.
I was amazed at the actual block he was housed in. Capgrave Crescent is it's almost a prison. It's a block of flats in a triangular design with an internal grass courtyard. And all of the front doors face inwards to this. So anything that goes on in that grass courtyard cannot be seen from outside. It made for a very unpleasant environment. Bejan was subject to racial abuse. He was called Packy. He was called a paedophile. They would throw stones at his plants, break the pots. They would leave rubbish on his doorstep, beer cans, that sort of thing. They'd gather late at night, right outside his front door, get drunk there. It would be a constant barrage.
Bejan brought all this on himself. He was the one that come out and started the trouble.
Stop, right? I'm at the police station now saying you're taking pictures of me, alright?
Yeah?
What are you taking pictures of me for? That's proof.
He was the one that brought it on himself because of the way he was. It was never a race thing. He didn't want to know the truth.
Don't you dare take pictures of me, alright?
Come to my
I come to your fucking house, don't take pictures of me then, alright? How old are you? I'm a little boy. Up to you.
The reason I turned against him because of what he did to me. Taking pictures of kids, you don't do things like that. You don't take pictures of other people's kids.
Go out of my house.
Get the fuck away with the fucking pictures, alright?
Go out of my house.
Take pictures of me again and I'll fuck you up!
I could see someone seriously hurting him, if not murder, quite easily.
Ignore him. Ignore him.
Don't you dare take pictures of me, alright? I come to your fucking house, don't take pictures of me then, alright?
Go out of my house.
Fuck away with the fucking pictures, alright?
Go out of my house.
Ignore him. How old are you? I'm a little boy. Up to you.
Go out of my house.
Take pictures of me again, I'll fuck you up!
Bejan is filming Lee James' antisocial behaviour. Not his children, but Lee James' antisocial behaviour. And I think the reason Lee James reacts to that is because he does not accept that someone in Bejan's position or someone of Bejan's ethnicity should be allowed make him accountable for his behaviour in any way.
Ignore him. Go ahead, operator.
Blackman connecting mobile service.
Thank you. Go ahead, caller. What's your name?
It's Bejan Ibrahimi.
Bejan, tell me exactly what's happened, please.
One of the new neighbors came inside my door and he hit me with his head to my head. And I already had a racial problem before. Yeah.
Did he say anything racist to you?
No, he didn't.
Bejan, are you or anyone else in immediate danger right now?
I am.
Officers are well on their way, Bejan.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
bye-bye. 82.
82, I need to divert you from that job to Catgrave Prison, over.
Okay.
Basically, there's an assault going on. Bejan Abrahami. There are 78 previous from this male.
Police attended Bejan's home, but instead of Lee James being arrested or warned or some action taken against him, the police decided to arrest Bejan, even though there was no evidence or any allegation from Lee James that Bejan had breached the criminal law.
So you can imagine, this is a scenario. 2 police officers, and you have a baying mob, and you have Bejan. And he's there recording at the door.
He came to me and threatening me to die. And you let him go. Yes?
There's only us here. We haven't got any backup. If this really does kick off, it's just us against them.
No, but I want to know. You're supposed to come here to look after me.
You're making it worse.
Volatile situation, man aggravating the situation. What do you do?
Get in. Get in.
Go back indoors. You're making things worse. You're making our job worse.
You are coming here to
making
look
it worse.
after
Now
me.
get inside.
You take away Bejan for his safety, because he isn't taking it on board to stay inside his house, or you arrest Lee James and leave Bejan there with all the other people. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Father, is there anybody in the station who can see if there's a space for an adult male, please? Coming from Catgrave.
Yeah, 361, Station Broadbury.
The police led Bejan from his home in handcuffs, and by this time a baying crowd had gathered, from which Lee James could be heard saying, "I'm going to kill him."
He's not the one causing all of this problem. It's everybody else who's causing it. But the easiest thing is, we'll just move him out of the picture. And in doing so, you almost condone that behaviour. And you say to people, you can break into somebody's house, you can call him a paedophile. And I believe that that's part of the reason why the person who killed Bejan felt he could do it. Because the police and council hadn't done anything before. So.
There was a wide range of abuse. He had been covered in boiling water by a former council tenant, which resulted in that tenant's conviction, criminal conviction. And that resulted in Bejan being relocated to another address where he was the subject of an arson attack.
So around that time, there was a lot of problems on the estate. I think there was a lot of graffiti, there were fires. I believe his property had fire put through his letterbox. I think his car was set on fire. My memory of him is seeing him stood on his own outside, looking a bit lost, I guess. I found him quite an odd man. I thought, to be honest, he was a bit strange. I never really connected with him. Looking back, I wondered if he had mental health problems. I know that he wrote letters to a couple of my female neighbours. I think he just wanted to make friends and make connections with people. I don't know that it worked very well. can remember some of the female neighbours talking about Bejan and saying he'd been inviting some of the children into his flat. And there were some other neighbours who backed that up and said it had happened to their kids as well, accusing him of being a paedophile. There was no evidence to say that he was a paedophile. He was a lonely guy inviting kids into his home for company, to be kind. I don't know what it was about, but that didn't make him a paedophile. The petition said, we, the undersigned, have concerns about one of our neighbours. He's been inviting children into his property, which has concerned a number of us. Could somebody explain to him that as a single guy, he can't invite kids into his house, you know, that people don't understand that and it upsets them? And we would like you to look into this and move this man. So I myself took it into the council, yeah. I can't remember who I spoke to, but I do remember thinking that was a waste of time.
Despite calling to the police, despite calling to the council repeatedly, he received no support. Nobody appreciated the issues this man was suffering. I mean, the council fundamentally, it would appear to me, washed their hands of anything to do with him other than provide him with a house. Bristol City Council seems to think, well, it was nothing to do with us.
I was shocked, really, that he'd been moved so close. I thought, how could the council have moved him just up the road? I mean, rumours can follow very easily, you know. It worried me that the accusation of him being a paedophile had followed him there.
I'd heard rumours that he'd been kicked out of another place for messing about with, or trying to mess about with some young girl or something. So, do you know what I mean? I sort of put two and two together and thought, well, maybe he could be, do you know what I mean?
People like to gossip, don't they? I mean, we heard the stories, didn't we? So the stories went about why he moved into, for the previous place, into Cartgrave. And people weren't happy about it because people believed the initial stories of being a paedophile, and people would weld bits on, and obviously you question him, how do you know that? Because you wanted some evidence, didn't you? Because this is a good bit of gossip. And there was never any evidence, no. But there was something that told me that this guy was an absolute wronging, because it was quite scary. If you were a woman and it's 11 o'clock at night, it's dark, and you've got this guy just standing there staring at you and all that kind of stuff, it's a bit scary, isn't it? I always thought that it was just some kind of sexual deviant Pete and Tom or something like that, no, which tied in with the paedophile stories. It was a bit creepy.
There was no foundation whatsoever to any of those allegations of sexual impropriety in relation to Bejan. Those allegations are in exactly the same category as the entirely spurious rumours that Bejan was a paedophile. What they are is a mask for the harassers. They were designed to demonise and isolate Bejan, to place him as other and apart.
I was walking in one day and he was coming out and he said something and I sort of turned around to sort of like say, what was that? And he sort of showed me the picture on his phone. He showed me a picture of 3 kids. One of them was my daughter. Then what he's done, he zoomed in to my daughter to get a reaction. My daughter must have been no more than 11 or 12, but the 2 other kids were younger. And there's no need to, you just don't do things like that. He just ran off, and when I went to confront him about it, he ran in the house, ran in, shut the door, and rang the police. And while he's ringing the police, kicking the door from the inside. So when the police, obviously when he's on the phone to the police, he's saying he's trying to kick me door in.
Because he had taken photographs of children who had been pulling plants up or whatever it was in his garden, therefore it was an excuse in the minds of the real perpetrators accusing him of being a paedophile, and there was nothing worse at the time. It was a torrent of this stuff in the nasty media, and it had become probably the greatest insult you could give to anybody, and this was completely wrongly stuck on Bejan. I do believe this was a case of vigilantes, or whatever you like to call them, the crowd thinking that because they are the greater numbers, that they are right.
Don't you dare take pictures of me as a fucking warning, right? You get on film all you want. Take pictures of me again, I'll fuck you up! Right? Look, right? Ignore him, ignore him.
You hold this.
Sit down, do as you're told.
Can you open it?
One only has to view the footage of the custody suite to gain a sense of how Bejan was treated during that time.
I don't want to talk to you. I've said that I want to talk to you. If you want to talk, you're fine, but I don't want to talk to you. I'm not going around in circles anymore.
No, I'm talking to you as a friend.
No, you're not my friend, that's the point. I'm a police officer, you're a pain in the ass. Don't speak to me.
The treatment was contemptuous, disrespectful, and prejudicial. Bejan was treated like his life didn't matter.
You've got
Yeah.
Right, you're going to be arrested for public order offence. You've antagonised the situation, like I've already said. We've asked you not to do things like take photographs, film things. You've done ahead and done that, and now you're being arrested for that. So you do not have to say.
Bejan had had something to drink that night, without a shadow of a doubt. He was slurring his words, it was quite obvious to see.
Twice somebody came to my house.
What's our address? Where do you live?
Kept your children.
Capri.
Twice somebody came to my house.
He kept on and on and on. And how many times can you tell somebody, stop?
I spoke to that gentleman.
Just be quiet for now. Just be quiet.
To just do whatever you
What
want.
part of be quiet do you not understand? Shut up!
So you're Persian, yeah? You're born in... Is that what it says? Persian, where are you born?
What does it make difference?
Really?
The impression that I ended up with was of a local police force which couldn't care less about him.
Don't lie.
I just opened
I'm not talking. I've had enough.
What the officers have said is...
Completely had enough.
You had that opportunity.
I'm convinced he was just chucked in the too difficult box. Or he was chucked in the bullshit box, basically. There was a belief he was making it all up.
He came to my house.
Yeah, I know, I saw the video.
Yes. And assaulted me. And second time. Did they get an opportunity for the second time?
It's off.
Right.
I'm just...
Don't keep pointing at me. How rude are you?
Sorry, I didn't point at you.
Just talk to the custody sergeant.
Maybe what you're dealing with are people who are simply appalling at their jobs.
Do you have any mental health problems?
Yes, I've got the depression.
And it's not because of particular individuals. It's not because of someone's race or someone's background. It's simply because they just can't be bothered. I don't know if that's better or worse. I don't know.
Okay, so I'll authorize your detention.
I'm not going to stay here.
My first encounter with Bejan Ibrahimi was shortly after he had moved into the Capgrave Crescent, and the lady had called to complain about Mr. Ibrahimi. She'd been welcomed him there when he first arrived as a neighbour. Went along, offered him tea bags, milk, sugar, welcome him in, get you settled. What she got following that was his unwanted attention. She reported that Bejan had been coming on repeated occasions to her front door, looking through the kitchen window, putting notes through the door that were inappropriate, sexual in nature. She was petrified in giving the statement. My next step was I went to Mr. Ibrahimi's door and I informed him why I was there. And I arrested him and took him into custody. And we went into the interview and basically he said it wasn't him, it was her who was chasing him, but also that she'd been putting notes through his door. He was never at any time perturbed or put out about it. He just sort of sat there and he had a bit of a grin on his face while he was doing it. But it's one person's word against the other, so it can't go any further on this.
This guy, he complained for anything. I know he complained about somebody's music up the stairs. He complained about the kids playing football. It's a communal garden, no kids are going to be kids. He complained about my dogs being off the lead. So he reported my dog. He says my dog bit him. My dog didn't bite him, no, my dog barked at him. But he made a big elaborate story up. The police came to my door. The next day I got a card through the door for the dog warden people. I just thought I've got one of the fucking neighbours that sometimes you get in social housing. And I don't know if it was just in his alcohol-fueled head that he was just making stuff up. But we just assumed that he was trying to work his ticket to get a better flat. So that's why he's complaining about everybody.
Looking back at his criminal record, there's certainly lots of information about his use of alcohol. You could just see him in the street many times, encounter him, or even the phone calls that might have occurred, and he'd be drunk, and the neighbours would report that he'd be drunk, or you could clearly see that he was under the influence.
I actually just assumed, because I know a wee bit about the country he comes from, and I knew he was a refugee and things like that, I just thought this guy was traumatised, and he was just self-medicating with alcohol. but he was fucking drunk all the time. 99% of the trouble there was him. It was nobody else. And I really felt sorry for the policemen because it's like they were just backwards and forwards all the time. I don't know what you do with somebody like that. When there was a joke, man, he had speed dial on his phone for No West Police Station, no. They coppers were up and down and answering his phone every day, but most of it was absolutely just lies.
If you sign there.
I received Bejan Ebrahimi as a handover prisoner. Camera as well, right? On the Friday morning. Came across as a complex character. He wouldn't listen to people. He talked over constantly.
Please don't take photographs of children.
No,
you're allowed to have an awful. No, but you've got a video on there, I've watched it. There's a video with children in it, kind of.
It is what's the people...
I know, but it's got his children in it. People get a bit edgy.
He had been perceived as taking pictures of Lee James's children. I had viewed the camera and he quite obviously looks at Lee James drinking, not the children. There was no evidence to suggest that this man was a paedophile.
Trust me, take pictures of me again, I'll fuck you up!
With regards to Bejan being assaulted, the evidence wasn't there. He had no injuries. He had been recording that. There was no sign of him being headbutted on that occasion. There was nothing to substantiate what he was saying at all. He was like Peter who cried wolf, a lot. I went to Capgrave to speak to residents and happened, as I was coming through the gate, meet the girlfriend of Lee James. And she was very quick to inform me that Bejan was a paedophile and that we had evidence on his camera. I think there were about 2 people, and by the time I'd finished, there was probably about 5 or 6 around me. So there is that sort of mob mentality. You could feel this undercurrent going on of this vigilante type carry-on. I made it very clear that I had viewed Bejan's camera and at no time had he filmed children. He was not a paedophile. But whatever you said to them, they weren't going to believe what I was saying. They had made up their minds of what he was and what he wasn't. It was a storm brewing. But nobody mentioned his race. This was not about his race, it was the fact that they felt he was a paedophile.
Was it a racist place? It was a place where racism happened. But was it a racist community? No, I don't think it was. I can think of individuals in that community who were definitely racist, and I can count them on fewer fingers than I have in this hand. But did the racism happen to Bejan? I think possibly, yeah, probably did. Almost certainly, at some level.
The only reason that people never got on with him is because he was an argumentative, uncooperative, fucking pest. There wasn't any, there's no better words to describe him, no. It wasn't because of where he came from or anything else, it was because of his behaviour.
I was never racist towards him. It was never a race thing. The man could have been from anywhere in the world. It wouldn't have made the slightest bit of difference. He could have been a white man, and in that way, and people would have hated him. There was mixed races there, and nobody had any problems with any other race that lived there.
When I first moved into Capgrave, it was I didn't see no black people. It was just all one colour, white, and that's it. How I met him was, well, through my daughter. She loves her stomach, so he'll come over, ice lolly, but he always say, is she allowed that? Yeah, he was all right. Really, really, really polite. Always outside, but 3-4 times a day, watering his flowers and just smiley. I don't let my daughter take any and anything from anyone, and I was comfortable for her even to go in his house and go into his fridge and... Pedophile, no. That was just to cover whoever's back it was. That Capgrave is just racist, and that's just that. Yeah, they call me names, they call me, that word, nigger, black, go back to your country. And after what happened, I'm still going through racism, and nothing's getting done about it. The police ain't doing it, the council ain't doing it. I just think it's getting worse and worse.
Right, is there any other address that you can go to for things that see anybody, or you want to go home?
No, I'm going home.
He was insistent that he wanted to be driven home, which I thought was a sort of quite foolhardy, really, but he was insistent, and he didn't want to go anywhere else.
The inspector said go ahead.
Yeah, beat managers can come to you.
I would have said to Bejan that PC Duffy would have come to visit him, possibly that day.
When the beat manager comes over to see you, you tell him all that tonight.
Thank you.
He's then released without charge because he had done nothing, and essentially thrown back to the wolves. And despite Lee James having threatened to kill him, he was returned to a situation which the police themselves have described as a bear pit. A clear message was sent to Lee James and the like that Bejan would not be protected by the police, and moreover, that his harassers would have impunity. And that is what culminated in the barbaric act that ended Bejan's life.
Haven and Somerset Police, how can I help? Hi, my name is Bejan Ebrahimi. My life in danger.
Why is your life in danger, Bejan? What's happening?
I've got a mob behind my door, shouting and calling me pedophile, and I can't go outside the door because I'm not safe.
Haven and Somerset Police, how can I help?
Hello, my name is Bejan Ebrahimi. Can I speak with PC Duffy?
And what's it regarding, please?
I think he knows that. He's supposed to come to my house to talk to me.
Okay, 1 second. I'll try and get hold of him.
All right, thank you.
Bejan looked to PC Duffy as the local beat manager to protect him from this harassment, to protect him, for example, against Lee James storming into his house again and threatening him, or threatening to kill him. The harassment continued. No help was forthcoming.
Bejan?
Yes.
He's rejected my point-to-point on the radio, so it must mean that he's at a job. Are you able to give us a call back in about 15 minutes?
15 minutes. All right.
When I came on duty on the Friday at 2 p.m, one of the first things I get is the email from my colleague Hen Staveley Brown. I start reading through this stuff, and then a call comes in. Road traffic accident on the Bath Road. They're asking for help with the traffic to safeguard the area. So I'm directed to go, because it's my patch.
Good afternoon, over to Somerset, please.
Good afternoon. Can I speak to the PC Kevin Duffy?
Just having a look to see whether he's on duty for you, okay?
Hello, is that PC Duffy?
It is, yes.
I've got a gentleman on the phone asking for you, a Bejan Ibrahimi.
No, you could inform Mr. Ibrahimi of other commitments just now. I'm not going to be speaking with him at this point in time.
Bejan was a priority, but not that night. He was a priority that I had set for Monday, and that was something that was agreed after speaking with Hen Staveley Brown, with my sergeant sat to one side.
I just phoned you more than an hour ago.
Yeah.
About the mob, the neighbors behind my door. They told me you are in the high priority.
We still have it on as a priority, sir, as you...
No. I don't want any other police comes.
You just want your beat manager?
Yes. Inspector told me that Kevin Duffy is coming to see you since 2:02.
That inspector that told Bejan that PC Duffy visited him that day, that information never reached me. I never heard that. He was not communicating in any way. The only indication that that inspector would speak to me was in Hen Staveley Brown's email. He'll have spoken to you by now, but he hadn't.
I'm sure I'm going to have a big problem again tonight.
Okay. So, okay, you just keep your doors and windows locked and we'll get officers to come see you, okay?
Tonight.
You busy?
A little bit, yeah, but go on.
Just that someone's called in asking to speak to you from Capgrave.
Yeah, it should be told no uncertain terms that I will speak to him at my convenience. It's Mr. Bejan Ibrahimi. He's well known to me, and I won't be taking any calls from him. I'll see him at some point, possibly this evening, if I'm able to.
Am I the only police officer that exists to deal with his problems? I am a community officer. I deal with the community. I'm not a Bejan Ibrahimi officer or a Capgrave officer. I've got the rest of the community I'm still dealing with and policing for.
He was given the advice that if he was feeling threatened, he was to ring 999. A treat as urgent marker was placed on his address, so if he had called 999, it would have been treated as urgent. He wasn't calling 999, he was calling PC Duffy.
Avon Somerset Police, how can I help?
Hi.
Is that Bejan?
Yes.
What can I do for you?
I haven't seen anybody. Could you please put me through the PC Duffy?
Yeah, I did speak to him a couple of minutes ago for you. He's busy with another incident at the moment. He won't be able to speak to you.
But I told you 2:30. I don't feel safe here.
Bejan continued to experience harassment and continued to make calls for assistance in that regard. Those calls were not answered, and Bejan was left alone and unprotected.
They are outside my door. There's 6-7 neighbors right now. I can't even open my window. They are telling something nasty to me.
What are they saying?
You are petrified. Don't come here.
It was a Friday night, and the same old Friday night problem, stuff happens. Yeah, I had to make some priorities. I had a call to a verbal assault and threats made on this elderly lady. But the game changer on the Friday was the log that came in about the threats to cut off a disabled man and the son's head at the other end of Capgrave Crescent. That took my head off anything else, and I was going, that has to be dealt with, and got concurrence from my sergeant as well. That needs to be dealt with.
Bejan Ibrahimi, yeah, I've been dealing with him for years. He's got nothing he needs to actually speak to me about. It'll make no difference because he got nicked last night.
Oh, he was nicked. He told us that he stayed there because he was too frightened to go home, and now he's home. They're all outside saying, "Where's your handcuffs?" And they're all sat on the bench outside, apparently.
Now, Ibrahimi will say one thing to try and turn it to his advantage, and he often just turns things around to make it sound like he's telling the truth, but no, it's all fabricated a lot of the time with an element of truth.
You need to make sure you're with someone when you see him.
Can I speak to PC Leon Winter, please?
Well, just one moment. Hello, I don't suppose Leanne Winter's around.
Leanne Winter is sat just opposite me, stuffing her face with pot noodle at the moment.
Well, that's what I'll be eating tonight as well.
Hello.
Hi. Hope you're enjoying your pot noodle.
I was.
I've got an Ibrahim. Sorry.
I don't want to speak to him.
You don't.
Tell him I'm busy at a job, and it won't particularly be me coming. It'll be
Yes, somebody else.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Hello, Kevin Duffy.
I don't know how you pronounce his name.
Bejan Ibrahimi.
Yeah.
This will be about the fourth or fifth call with me tonight.
Right.
Trying to get hold of me in particular, and I'm not going to talk to him.
Okay, no problem at all.
Yeah, I'm frustrated. I am human. I got frustrated by it. And I'm going, give us a break.
He's just saying that he's been told by your sergeant or inspector that you were going to be attending at 7 o'clock or something?
No, that's a flat lie. He's lying yet again. He's a picture liar. That's never been anything's ever been manifested except in his mind, as far as I can tell.
Did he cry wolf? Was there a concept of that? Yeah.
He won't come tonight.
No, he won't be attending. It's up to you, sir. We can either ask that another unit comes out, or no one at all. It's up to you.
When he's coming, because I have to take my sleeping bag and go and sleep the park, because I'm not feel safe here.
No, I've told you he's not coming, and no one has apparently told you that he would be coming.
You mean you are not cooperating with me?
It's not so much that, sir. I'm following our procedures.
In truth, what I directed PCSO Passmore to do was a foot patrol, like engaging with anybody out there, or if nobody's there, walk around and be seen. Be seen.
What happened at Capgrave?
I was just told to do a little area tour around there, show a bit of a presence, and to see if there's any noise or people taunting Mr. Ibrahimi, and there wasn't.
So it's all clear, was it?
Yeah, all clear.
I am outside the Bejan police station right now.
I can see. Okay.
Comes. Hello?
I've got Bejan Ibrahimi.
I'm sorry, I'm going to go off in 1 second because I've had repeat calls from this man, and basically I am considering doing Mr. Ibrahimi for harassment if he keeps on calling and want to speak with me, because I've made it perfectly clear I've got no intention to speak with him tonight.
Okay, I'll tell him. They're saying that they haven't got anybody that can see you this evening outside Bejan police station.
This morning.
I think you're going to have to go back home, I'm afraid.
I'm just asking.
Well, in that case, you'll have to call back tomorrow.
I'm just asking. I can't go home because I am not safe.
Police officers took a very unfavourable view of Bejan. He was seen as the problem, and instead of supporting the victim of sustained repeat race discrimination, Bejan was penalised and left unprotected, despite the long history of race hate crime he had suffered.
You need to go home. There's nobody available to come and see you. Sir, I'm sorry, I need to leave. You need to go home and I need to get off the line.
That summer was a hot, hot summer. Loads of people was out there drinking, smoking, loads of kids was there. During that evening, someone come over and spoke to me and said, yeah, something's gonna kick off tonight. But I didn't really know what they meant. What do you mean something's gonna kick off? They said that things has been said. What's been said? They're like, oh, well, you just see, and that was that.
I always knew something was going to happen, but I had no idea that something as horrendous as that was going to happen. We always knew there was going to be an event and this would stop it and be a solution to the problem, if you like, but we didn't think anybody was going to ever get murdered or anything like that, no.
It started off as a fight, and then it spiraled into, obviously, what happened. I mean, what they did in the end, I can't comprehend that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I think that was a bit too far.
Lee James dragged Bejan from his home, brought him to an area where he kicked Bejan to death, and then he set a light to his body. I think the murder of Bejan, including the violent immolation and desecration of his body, was an act of race hatred.
Ambulance service, how can I help? Hello, it's Aidan in Somerset, please. Could we have your attendant to Capgrave Crescent, please? Okay, and what's going on there, please? She's looked out the window after hearing a noise and can see a man laid out on the floor, not moving, no one with him.
We received a call that there was a drunk male on the side of the road. And that was quickly followed up by, there is a burning body at the side of the road in Brislington in Whitmore Avenue. And knowing that Whitmore Avenue is right by Capgrave, I knew it had to be Bejan, having dealt with it the day before.
Somebody who's actually a response officer was saying, oh, there's something going on in South Bristol, it's Brislington. Of course, my ears prick up. What's going on? There's a body on Whitmore Avenue. And they said, nobody seems to know who he is. Then I knew, especially when they said nobody coming out to claim who this person is, I thought, that is Bejan, because no one would.
So when we turned up, the ambulance had used a fire extinguisher on the body, and I put my torch onto the smoking area and realised it was a body, quite unrecognisable, that looked like a log. I I would have never have known it was Bejan. And I immediately raced round to Bejan's flat. And that heart-dropping moment when I saw his door wide open. The water was still dripping from the flowers on his hanging baskets. And it was horrible because you just knew that this was somebody's life. I didn't know if he'd been burnt alive, and it's haunted me.
I could not believe it. They burnt the body. And I thought, why do that? Like a desecration. That sort of stayed with me. I carried it around every single day. And most of the nights as well.
Once we had found Bejan, I knew exactly it had to be Lee James. No shadow of a doubt. And there was an independent witness who had looked out and seen Lee James doing what he was doing to Bejan on the communal area.
Bejan's murder arose from a multi-agency systemic failing. Those events were eminently avoidable had Bejan been given the support he was entitled to by the police and the council, who were duty-bound to provide that support. The family have no doubt that the failings at the heart of this tragedy are endemic and systemic and arise primarily as a result of race discrimination, but I'm sure mixed with ineptitude and negligence.
Just be quiet for now. Just be quiet. To just do whatever you want. What part of be quiet do you not understand? Shut up.
I was just told to do a little area tour around there, show a bit of a presence.
It was all clear, was it?
Yeah, okay.
All right to carry on, Kathy.
Yeah. I've cried a lot of tears over the past few years, but that's the first time I've actually shed any tears for Bejan. My whole professional identity, to a large extent my personal identity, was just killed in that moment. Prison itself was difficult, but you know, I've endured difficult before. I can do difficult. But it's the emotional impact of it. Going for a run around here, and I just, out on this run, I just had to stop. I had to walk home. Going past a particular section with quite a lot of trees and visualising and planning which one I'd hang from. I'd been wrongly accused, wrongly convicted of something I didn't do. Was I scapegoated? Most definitely. They have got it so wrong. There's a white person, particularly a white man, might be a bit racist. There's a white man in a police uniform, definitely a racist. That's just too easy and an unthinking way of dealing with anything. And what's happened to me is very, very dangerous for anybody who works in any public service.
As an institution, the police can be very defensive and will identify scapegoats at lower ranks if possible. People at the bottom of the tree have carried the can for what is definitely an institutional problem. There's others who bear responsibility. There's sergeants and inspectors involved in that up to their eyeballs, there's got to be. But that never came out.
I come through this with my integrity intact, my honesty intact. It's the truth. I've got my integrity. I know there's others out there who don't. They've got my pity.
I don't think the City Council has learnt all the lessons it should have learned from this. No one at the council felt that it was their responsibility. Here we are, so many years down the line, and no one has said, well, this is where it broke down. I don't know that the processes are necessarily in place to prevent it happening again.
I don't think it should all be about blame. It certainly should be about learning. It certainly should be about reviewing our procedures, because clearly something had gone terribly wrong with people believing the crowd against the individual. And often crowd behavior can be very nasty. It's an age-old lesson that was learned, that whether it's in a school, a community, corporation, that one must beware of people ganging up on anybody.
To think that a refugee could come to one of the most liberal cities in the country excuse me. Be kicked to death and set on fire. Makes you proud, doesn't it? Yeah.